And it's especially painful because I've just gotten super fascinated and addicted to Valheim again after sinking like almost 500 hours into this game. It's on the beta servers. They're testing out the Mistlands update. So me and Rachel and our friend Tiny Wolf have got a server going. I actually streamed the first stuff that I like set up and built and did on the server last night, or I guess technically this morning. And I would love nothing more than to be sitting here playing some more Valheim. I was about to start building a metalworks and a boat dock and a bunch of new stuff. But no, it is Monday. And Mondays are not for Valheim streams. They're for pain. They're for anguish. They're for Book of Memories. When this abomination is done, are we casting it into the fires of Mount Doom? Basically, yeah. That's kind of the plan. Alright, as is tradition, we need to re-roll this fucking zone. Rachel. We just rewatched all of Lord of the Rings, so very fresh on the brain. Been in a very high fantasy mood lately. Playing Valheim, watching Lord of the Rings. I've been writing and working on a homebrew Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition campaign for my friends. So this is definitely getting yeeted into Mount Doom. Talking about DBD Nub, did you see Night Speed Bug literally legal hacks? No, I didn't see that. Is it similar to like the Wesker Speed Bug, where you could stun him when he was using his power, and then he would just be super fast for the rest of the match? I mean, DBD is just kind of in a sad state right now. This last chapter was like really disappointing. There's a lot of shit. I mean, you always expect shit to break when there's a new chapter, but it's a lot of really unfortunate stuff. Like, a bunch of stuff broke with the Wesker chapter, but at least Wesker himself was a pretty fun, like, killer new addition. Whereas the Knights are not super fun. The new perks are cool. I like the new killer perks, the new survivor perks. And the new survivor himself, Vittorio, pretty cool, but man, the Knight is so disappointing. And yeah, a lot of the issues right now are just DBD's not in a fun spot until they fix a lot of those issues. So we're probably not even going to be playing DBD tonight. Hey, we got a 5-piece dungeon. The gods are merciful. Yeah, most likely, if we've got people around to play Back for Blood. We might play some Back for Blood after this. So yeah, it'll probably come down to Back for Blood after this. If it's just Jubes, we might do more fighting games. Because I had a lot of fun doing the fighting games and stuff last week. Don't kill me. Hey, what's up, Jake? Good to see you as well. Thank you for being here. Hidden enemies. Gonna fuck me up. What level are we on so far? 409. 409 out of 500. Oh, there's a fucking butcher too? I'm going to fucking die already. I just instinctively was like, nope, freeze whatever's in here, even though it's just a challenge orb. Yeah, I need to find healing stuff. Or Howard. Oh, the fucking bear traps are gonna kill me. Ooh. Heals. Okay, there's our exit. Yeah, now that I got that one first aid kit, that should hopefully be all I need to do this orb down here. Especially with damage boost. Got the damage boost glitch. Fuck all the things in that room. Here we go, another first aid kit. Got damage glitch again. This should be Howard. No? Orb. Hey, what's up, Dog Syrup? This was the second game outside of Silent Hill, right? Like Team Silent? No. This was the last fully released Silent Hill game. This came out after Downpour. This was the last fully released game that came out before PT and Silent Hills got canceled and all of that. Back in 2012, 2013. This is Silent Hill Book of Memories. This is the dungeon crawler for the PlayStation Vita. And easily the worst fucking game in the series. Literally worse than the Pachi slot. Like, I've played the Pachi slot. The slot machine's actually got elements of it that are interesting and fun. Not this. You know what Silent Hill needs? A dungeon crawler. I mean, this was... Like I said, 2012, 2013, dungeon crawlers and stuff were really big. And Konami was just trying to capitalize on that. Like, this wasn't even a developer team decision. Like, WayForward did not set out to make a dungeon crawler. They were there to make a Silent Hill game, and Konami basically was like, okay, we have contracts to fulfill. Dungeon crawlers are really popular right now, so let's make it a dungeon crawler. And we have this contract with Sony to make more games for the Vita, and it has to have all of the touch controls and everything like that to show off the Vita features. So they basically plopped that, you know, idea into WayForward's lap, and this is what they did. I can definitely understand, like, not giving a shit, but holy fuck, it shows. Like, this game is painful to play. Now they'll announce a battle royale because it's popular. Hey, we still don't know what Silent Hill Townfall and stuff like that'll wind up being. One of the new games announced might be, you know, I think I've got just something like that, where it's just kind of going off of trends, whatever's popular at the moment. Because we don't know anything about those games, really.
Something I can take off your hands?
The only thing we've got, like, kind of an idea of what it's going to be is the Silent Hill 2 remake, and even that, like, there's not a lot of details on what it could be. How many things are going to be different, you know, that sort of thing. But with all the new games, they could be anything.
Don't spend it all and see you again.
I'm activating my Pyramid Head kill streak. You see, like, people say that kind of stuff jokingly. Like, Fugu, I know you're like, you're making a joke right now. Did you know that there is a game where a Pyramid Head kill streak is a real thing? Like, that's literally already a thing that exists. It's called, Deception Monsters and Mazes or something like that. Hold on. Deception Monsters and Mortals. Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals, which has a Silent Hill 2 map. It's like a multiplayer weird game, but they did a Silent Hill crossover. It was around the same time the Silent Hill chapter got added to Dead by Daylight. Konami was just doing a couple of, like, Silent Hill crossover things with other studios, and Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals was one of the things that that they did a crossover with. So that's a real thing. Pyramid Head being summoned and like getting a kill streak is a real thing in a game. I think the Silent Hill F taking place in Japan should have the essence of Silent Hill for sure, no matter what form it has. It's hard to tell because it's just a trailer. And honestly, from the trailer by itself, it gives me much more... I mean, it's set in Japan, so obviously, like, it's more in line with typical Japanese horror, traditional Japanese horror, like Fatal Frame and Kuon and stuff like that. So, to me, it's more in line with that rather than, like, traditional Silent Hill. Because the original Silent Hill games are made in Japan by Japanese people, but they are a Japanese development team that are fans of American and Western horror. It's Western and American style horror through the lens of Japanese developers. That's what made the original Silent Hill games so unique. So, F might be good, but just because it's set in Japan, like, I don't know. There's too much to consider. They might have a good way of tying it into the series and stuff. They might not. Out of all the trailers and everything we've seen for the upcoming games, it definitely looks the most interesting to me so far. But I wouldn't say because it looks like classic Silent Hill. It just looks interesting. It's got a cool aesthetic. And I am a self-admitted weeb, so I love the 1960s creepy Japan aesthetic. But that's also not what Silent Hill is. Literally, the name of the game, like the name of the series, is the location. Silent Hill, an American town in Maine. And obviously there's ways to like break away from that. Like Silent Hill 3 doesn't start in Silent Hill. Silent Hill 4, you never actually go to Silent Hill, but you're still in like the, you know, New England, northeastern United States. So how they managed to make that work in a Japanese setting, like, remains to be seen. I feel like there's still so much to explore about Silent Hill lore. It's almost kind of lazy to uproot the series and go to another location. Yeah, and that's something that has apparently, like, a lot of higher-ups at Konami have been wanting to do with Silent Hill for a long time already.
Yeah, me too.
Some of the devs...
You can't just...
It might have been Tom Hewlett, actually, talking about Silent Hill Homecoming when Homecoming was in development, very, very early on in development. And they were trying to figure out, you know, new things to do with the series. And he was talking about how he had a conversation, you know, business meeting with Konami execs to talk about the next Silent Hill game. And they were talking about setting it in, like, Alaska and something like that. And that the Konami higher-ups were like, yeah, there's no reason that a Silent Hill game can't take place, you know, anywhere. And yeah, it definitely was an interview with Tom Hewlett, because even Tom was like, but Silent Hill is like a place. It's not just an unrelated title for the series. It's the name of the location. It's the name of the town where the games theoretically should take place, or at least, you know, revolve around. And yeah, I agree. There's so much that's been established in the Silent Hill games up to this point that has not been, like, more thoroughly explored, that you could easily expand upon. Like, there's so much more you could do still within the town itself. Like, I've talked about it on a lot of different streams over the past several years, but like, I myself had like written a little pitch essentially for like, if I was in charge of making a Silent Hill game, what would I make? Just as kind of like a writing exercise. And if it were up to me, if Konami like called me tomorrow and they were like, hey, we're gonna make aside from everything that was announced, we're gonna make another Silent Hill game and you're in charge. And you can make whatever you want. So if that happened and it was up to me, I would make a game that is set right after the first English settlement.
I think I've got just the thing.
Basically settled the land that would eventually become Silent Hill, because it was not Silent Hill initially. In the Book of Lost Memories in Silent Hill 2, they talk about how the original settlement of where Silent Hill is used to be a town with a different name, but that name was lost to time. And they never expand on that in any of the other Silent Hill lore and stuff that's out there. That's never like expanded upon even more. So that would be my idea for a game. Like, you have the initial settlement from before it was Silent Hill, and what happened? What happened to them? Why was that town lost to time? So you can tell the story of the spiritual power surrounding the town that the Native Americans, you know, all believed in, and how that initially became corrupted by, you know, the Christian and English settlers. You can talk about what happened to that initial settlement and how it disappeared, what it was called, why, you know, all of the history of it was lost, and then eventually, you know, it would be resettled into Silent Hill, kind of more as the player knows it. So you just go way, way back. Go way, way back to before it was even Silent Hill. Whatever the town was called before it was called Silent Hill. You do a game surrounding that time period, and kind of the clashing of the English settlement and the Native American tribes. For my game pitch idea, you would play as like a woman that belongs to the native tribe that lives in the area. So you would see it from their perspective. This spiritual power that they once viewed as good becoming evil and corrupted. So from that perspective, I think would be a really good way to sort of tell that time period's story in the town's history. But that's the thing. There's like so much more than just that idea. There's so many things that have been a part of Silent Hill lore that you could easily expand upon. Douglas Cartland. He used to be before he was a private detective, he was a police officer. He was an actual, you know, police detective. and he went to Silent Hill on a missing persons case. A lot of people assume that he's talking about James when he says that in Silent Hill 3, but he's not specific. He doesn't say James. We don't know who he was looking for. People go missing in Silent Hill all the fucking time. You could make an entire game around that. Young Douglas Cartland going to Silent Hill on a missing persons case, and weird shit happens. There's an entire game right there. So, I mean, there's still so many stories, so many interesting things you can do from so many different perspectives that still are, like, rooted in the location of Silent Hill. There's no reason to, like, uproot it and send it to Japan or wherever. Again, not to, like, say that F is bad just because it's doing that. It might be really well written. It might have a really good reason for being in Japan. It might not even be mainly set in Japan. We could just be seeing like some backstory for a character that, you know, sets up the main game that then takes place in the actual town of Silent Hill. So who knows how it's going to turn out with F. But just to go back to that original point, Legate, I definitely agree. There's so much within established game lore that could be established better, that could be expanded upon more, and make for like really interesting games without completely moving the series to a location that is not Silent Hill, you know? I fucking missed a key somewhere. Oh, good, it's right here. Hey, Sasam. Want F to canonize Higurashi in Silent Hill to really fuck with people? Oh, that would be great. Absolutely good with that. Oh, fuck. God, healthy Pyramid Head. It was all going so smoothly until that orb. And that healthy Pyramid Head's gonna be a fucking bitch. At least the save point's right here. Okay, I have to go in, stop time, take care of all the other enemies so that I can focus on Pyramid Head. Annoying fucking room. Don't worry, the audio fucking getting absolutely destroyed means I'm doing lots of damage. There we go. Fucking stupid game. Hey, what's up, K9?
So what can I do for you? I think I've got just the thing. Enjoy it now.
Actually want a game that's super down to earth. Person's kidnapped or wakes up in a basement, has to escape a house, try to find a way out of the town of monsters, and it's not till the very end when you escape. Town limits and past the sign. It's revealed it's a Silent Hill game. No Silent Hill in title, no advertising that it's related at all. Yeah, I also had definitely agree with that. I like that kind of idea of having a game that is a Silent Hill game that is not like advertised as one. Of course, that's like, from a publisher standpoint, that's such a risky move. What console is this? This game was originally made for the Vita, not the PSP. This was a Vita game. And I'm playing it on a PS TV. And if you are still confused as to what that is, look it up. Google it. Basically a Vita that, instead of being a handheld, you hook up to a TV and plug in a controller. It's just easier to capture than an actual Vita. Like I said, Book of Memories is like jail time. Well, my sentence is almost over. Zone 411 out of 500. Would like a game about how Eddie got his hands on that pizza. Maybe play the delivery driver as he delivers pizzas across Silent Hill. Sure, why not? Masahiro Ito actually said Eddie's pizza was a microwave pizza, but then that like opens up a whole slew of other questions. Why would there be power? Why is there a microwave? Why would there still be like an edible microwave pizza in the bowling alley? I think Ito is just fucking around. Nope, not doing that. Fucking 7-piece dungeon. Oh, there's an ending? Storyline-wise, this game ends after 21 zones. Like, if you're just playing to see credits roll, this game ends after 21 zones, but then you can just keep playing it, and it'll keep generating zones all the way up to 500. Holy shit, that's a short game? Getting through those 21 zones takes like 10 hours. Which I guess in today's terms is still kind of a short game. Especially with dumb shit like this. How was that even in range, brother? Downpour enemies, how I hate these. Yeah, it's the boogeyman from the downpour. And of course, since the boogeyman was invented by Tom Hewlett, and Tom Hewlett also worked on this game, they made him one of the most bullshit enemies in the entire game. Like, he's one of the only enemies, he's one of 2 enemies that can follow you from room to room. He has multiple attacks that can just kill you in one hit. And he has the ability to just say no to damage. You're doing damage to me, I decline. No, thank you. I have a little black cloud surrounding me, and that means that until I feel like being hurt again, you cannot hurt me. Which is a really fun and well-balanced ability
Thank you kindly.
in an RPG dungeon crawler.
Thanks for your business.
Enemies that can just decide to not take damage for however long they want to. And out of all the, like, sub-boss enemies, Pyramid Head's actually the weakest. Boogeyman's the strongest. He can follow you from room to room. He's got a really strong ranged attack. He's got really strong one-shot up-close attacks. He can just decide to stop taking damage. The Butcher is the next most deadly because he's got basically all of his attacks kill you in one hit. And one of his attacks is just throwing a meat cleaver all the way across a room. So sometimes you'll just walk into a room and then a meat cleaver comes flying from off screen and just hits you and you die. You just die in one shot. How many zones do you do in a session? It varies wildly. If I get really lucky with zones, I can clear a zone in like 3 or 4 minutes. If it's the smallest possible map, because basically maps can be anywhere between 5, 6, or 7 challenge orbs large. So right now, I'm on the largest possible map. Right now, you can see I've only like uncovered this much of it. Once I've finished going through all of it, it's going to take up basically this whole side of the screen. Like, it's a massive fucking map. So sometimes you get a small map, sometimes you get a big map. Sometimes you get challenge orbs that are very simple. It spawns some enemies that are not too big of a threat, and you just have to kill them. Sometimes it gives you challenges where you have to, like, not take damage, and it's a very small room with enemies that can very, very easily damage you, and it can be next to impossible. Sometimes it can literally spawn a combination of enemies with modifiers and things like that that is just impossible to finish, in which case I have to just re-roll like the entire zone and let it procedurally generate a new one. And even just sitting through the loading screens to do that takes like 10-15 minutes. So sometimes I clear zones very quickly and we get through like a decent amount of them in a couple of hours. Sometimes I can spend an entire 2 hours just doing 1 or 2 zones. Like, it's super inconsistent because everything is procedurally generated and super fucking random and not balanced at all. Hey, Jebby. Until we get all 500 zones done, I will still be suffering this game on Mondays. We're almost there, but not quite. Still got quite a ways to go. Will you be the only person who's gone through every single level? I will be the only person who has recorded it. There are other people with screenshots and stuff online that have, like, taken a screenshot, like, here is Zone 500. But even that, I've only seen, like, 1 or 2 other people. And those screenshots could very easily be faked. Because the Vita is very easily hacked, and it's very easy to modify save files. So somebody could very easily just modify a memory card to unlock everything and then just take a screenshot of Zone 500. So with this playthrough, I started it in 2018. This file that I've been using started as a subathon in 2018, where I did a subathon that lasted for like 25 hours, and basically for every certain number of subs, I would do more zones. And I played 31 zones, I think. And then the following year, I decided, I found out that at the time, I thought this game would just infinitely generate zones. I didn't know that it had any kind of like an actual end. But then I found out that it does end at 500. So I started Book of Mondays in order to grind out to Zone 500. So everything is archived. Everything is recorded from Zone 1 all the way up to this zone right now. You can watch every single zone that I've completed up to this point. It's all archived. So nobody else has done that. Definitely no one else has gone through all 500 and streamed it live and archived it and recorded it. Rushmore, thank you so much for the 33 months. Very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Howdy Nub in chat, do you have the save backed up? Technically, I do. But I'm still scared to like mess with anything in case this ever got corrupted or anything. And when I say technically, I mean to say no. Like right now, if it got corrupted, I would lose a lot of progress. But like my Vita is software modded, so I can connect it to my computer and back up all of the game files, save files, things like that. Because like you have to mod your PSTV to be able to play this game. Even though it's completely playable, by default, for whatever reason, this game is whitelisted to not work, or blacklisted to not work on the PSTV. A lot of random Vita games are made that way, where they won't work on the PSTV. So I had to mod my PSTV to even get this game to run on it. So yeah, because of that, I can connect it to my computer and I can like back up save files and stuff. I haven't done a backup in a couple of months. So I should probably do that. I would lose, if everything got corrupted right now, I would lose a shit ton of progress. I wouldn't lose everything, but I'd lose a lot. I mean, I've had some situations where the game has crashed and things like that, but so far, corruption of save files and stuff doesn't seem to be an issue. Follow time is a palindrome right now. 7 years, 5 months, 15 days, 7 hours. Is that accurate? Because the follow time, you have been following for a long time. That probably is accurate. For a while, the follow time command was broken. So it would always show the same numbers. No, it should be working right though. Because Grimmy shows 6 years. Damn, y'all been watching me for a long time. I appreciate y'all still being here. That is awesome. Glad y'all haven't gotten sick of me yet. Still come by and hang out. And I am missing keys. That sucks. Well, I guess let's go see what's on the left side of the map. What is your favorite piece of Silent Hill trivia, if any? Ooh, that's tough. There is so much that is really cool and interesting to me that I've learned over the years. One of my favorites whenever I do story playthroughs to talk about is the hidden message on the coins for the coin puzzle in Silent Hill 2. Oh, I don't have time stop anymore. Ow. Hey Icarus. Almost 2 years and a few months on top of that from the YouTube re-uploads from that guy I forget the name of. Dorian, aka Sci-Fi Guy, aka Avatar Guy, aka Restless Dreams. And I do have my own channel on YouTube now for anybody who's not already following or subscribed. You can do !YT in chat. All the stuff on Dorian's channel is not going anywhere, but most of that same content is on my channel. Plus a ton of other stuff. It was just easier for me to make my own channel again, and YouTube has been better about its policies and stuff lately than they used to be when I deleted my YouTube channel the first time around, so it's just easier for me to upload a lot of the archive stuff that Dorian doesn't have access to. Along with making a lot of my own new content. Not just stream archives. I've made a couple of videos specifically for YouTube. I did a video talking about Silent Hill Ascension and kind of what that is most likely going to be. Some stuff like that. But yeah, if you enjoy my videos, enjoy what I do, and you've already been watching some of the re-uploads and stuff on YouTube, definitely go sub to the official YouTube. Because there's already hundreds and hundreds of hours, a ton of archives from over the years. Pretty much anything that Dorian had already re-uploaded, plus way, way more. And thank y'all. I appreciate any support on YouTube as well. Anybody subbing and enjoying the videos means a lot to me. It's what lets me keep doing this and motivates me to keep working on streams and videos and stuff. So thank you guys so much. Have you streamed the Silent Hill Pachi slot? Wild idea. Not sure if possible or if useful for stream content. It's kind of an awkward thing to stream. At this point, the way that I played it before was it was my friend. It belonged to An Eternal Enigma. A lot of you guys know Enigma. And for a while there, we were roommates. So I could very easily just like go up and play it. Since then, we've moved into our own like separate places. So I don't have my own personal Pachi slot that I could easily get. So I don't know if I'll be able to stream that one anytime soon. If I can get the money together and buy my own, then yeah. Or if I ever do like a co-stream with somebody who owns one, like Enigma, and a few of my other friends also own it, like Starwin and Ecdysis. So if I'm ever in a situation where I'm hanging out with them, I can definitely do some Pachi slot streams. Starwin, how's he doing? He deleted his Twitter a while ago. Starwin's doing pretty good. He is getting back into streaming and speedrunning and stuff. He kind of took a much needed break from a lot of that. A lot of the streaming and Twitch, you know, type of life. But recently we did the King of the Silent Hill event for Games Done Quick. We did that a couple weekends ago, and Starwin was there. He was racing Silent Hill Shattered Memories with Punchy, and also providing commentary for several of the games. And I know doing the races and commentary and stuff for the Silent Hill games, he was saying that he's motivated to stream and speedrun and do stuff again. So I think Starwin will be around on Twitch again more often now. Are you partnered or affiliate? I am partnered. I got partnered on Twitch before the affiliate program was a thing. Like right before they introduced the affiliate program. I got partnered in 2017. Yeah, I can't do the multi-stream thing. They recently eased up on the partner contract for Twitch streamers to stream on YouTube. You are allowed to stream on YouTube now, just not simultaneously. So I can't like start up my stream on OBS and be broadcasting to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. But I'm allowed to like do a stream on Twitch, and then if I wanted to do a stream on YouTube afterwards, I could do that. At some point I will probably do some YouTube streams. I haven't really had a good idea for doing them yet, and I've never streamed on YouTube, so there's a lot more setup and research that would kind of have to go into making that happen. But for now, I want to kind of keep all of my live content on Twitch. And then YouTube, the YouTube channel is going to be for archiving the streams, and then for any original videos I make, like my talking about Silent Hill Ascension video and that kind of stuff. Hey, Kibbs. Hope you're well. Piece of Silent Hill trivia that I like, the red squares. I heard they represent screaming or something similar. I think you might be mixing up trivia. There is the square pieces of like paper or pictures in Silent Hill 3 that depict a laughing mouth and bleeding ears. Those are meant to depict Alessa screaming, like Alessa losing herself. Her sanity. But that is different from the red squares in Silent Hill 2, which Masahiro Ito has actually talked about somewhat recently on Twitter. I can't remember exactly when this post was, earlier this year or last year, but he mentioned that the red squares are supposed to represent each of the manifestations that you encounter. So like the nurses, the lying figures, the mannequins, every creature. There's supposed to be a total of what's considered the 9 like manifested beings, which is the 9 red squares for Silent Hill 2. Really? Didn't know that? Yeah, Legate, that was something that, going through and reading over notes, I came across and had forgotten about myself. Because I just did a Silent Hill 2 story playthrough not long ago where somebody asked about the red squares, and I was like, hey, some stuff is meant to be ambiguous. But it turns out, you know, Ito had already talked about it. Of course he did. What even killed me? None of the nurses did an attack animation. What even killed me there? As for why they're red squares, that's not really expanded upon. But Ito had just mentioned specifically the red squares, like the 9 red square save point. That's the last save point in Silent Hill 2, right before the 2 Pyramid Head fight. That the 9 red squares represented the 9 manifested creatures. But that's pretty much it. That's like the extent. Sometimes that's all you get from Ito, is like a little bit of an explanation, but not everything. But that's Silent Hill in general. Not everything is meant to be deliberately explained or understood. It's supposed to have mystery behind it. There's supposed to be things that are just weird and unexplained. Good fucking God. Don't know if I like that, to be honest. To me, the squares always were represented fragments. I mean... If a developer comes out and says that something has a meaning, even if it's something that I don't necessarily like personally, I still respect it, you know? But don't be one of those fans. Not saying that you're doing this, but this came up recently with the whole fucking James is looking at the player bullshit, you know, Reddit post theory, which I never bought into in the first place. Like, people hyper brightening a cutscene beyond what you're supposed to be able to see in order to make it look like James is, you know, looking at the player. And then tons of people fucking talked about it and bought into it for a long time. And someone finally asked Ito about it. And he's like, why would he be looking at the player? Ito was like, why would he look at the player? The player doesn't exist in the world of Silent Hill 2. Like, there's a lot of weird psychological stuff that happens in the Silent Hill games. Breaking the fourth wall, especially for something that is not inherently and obviously like a joke that is breaking the fourth wall, is not something that Silent Hill does. Like, James is not aware of the player. He's not looking at the fucking player. It's just a cutscene where he's looking at his reflection, and that's just how his model happened to look, you know? So, sometimes people... But a lot of people got really upset when Ito was like, yeah, this is not a thing. Because he ruined their headcanon. Like... unpleasable. You have a developer actually take the time to fucking answer your question. And when it's not in line with your headcanon, you're just like, eh. Why would Ito bully me? Have you considered doing a Silent Hill Iceberg video? You seem really knowledgeable, and I like your lore explanations. I know it's kind of overused trope, but could be an interesting YouTube video. I've considered it, but there's already, like... There's a lot of videos like that out there. There's a lot of people kind of talking about that stuff, both for better and worse. Some that are, like, interesting and do give some good information. Some that are just... really inaccurate and spread misinformation with like no good sources. Yeah, I don't know. It not to say that I won't ever do something like that, but it's not something I've got any interest in like trying to do right now. Xander, thank you so much for the 69 months. Nice. The sex number. Thank you so much for all the love and support, Xander. Hope you're doing well today, dude. I have no wrenches, no health kits. We need to go find us a Howard. Technically, the canon's all over the place when we take into consideration the Western games. Oh god, yeah. Like, I've had a lot of people get onto, you know, YouTube commenters and stuff like that, where people are upset that I, like, exclude the Western games from the canon and only really take into consideration the first, like, 4 games. But the thing is, like, the first 4 games make sense. Like, they were made by the same developers, and they all make sense in conjunction with each other. Starting with Silent Hill Origins, things are explicitly wrong. Like, contradictory information from pre-established storylines. So there's the people who sort of look at canon and things being canonical as like, if the developer released it and it's official, you know, it's officially made by the devs, like if Konami published it, then it's canon, no matter what. And me personally, I just do not see things that way. For me, even if it might not be like your definition of canonical, for me, for something to be canonical, it has to make continuity and make sense. Like, there needs to be continuity between storylines that have a logical progression. So, like, I say the Silent Hill 1 good ending is the canon ending. But why would you say that? It's like, well,
Do come again.
for Silent Hill 3 to happen, several things need to occur. Alessa needs to be reborn as Cheryl, which happens in the good and good plus ending. Harry Mason needs to be in possession of a Glophatus so that he can put some in a necklace and give it to Heather when she's older. And if you collect the Glophatus in Silent Hill 1 but don't use it on Sybil, you get the good ending, not the good plus ending. So, like, those events have continuity with the events leading into Silent Hill 3. But if you want to be of the mindset that, like, anything ever made, if it's published by Konami, then it's official and it's canon, it's canonical, then you're also taking into account this game, Book of Memories. And you know what this game does? It explains why every other Silent Hill game happened. You want to know why Silent Hill 1 happened? Because Dahlia Gillespie wrote in a Book of Memories. Do you want to know why Silent Hill 2 happened? Because James wrote in a Book of Memories. Silent Hill 3, Claudia wrote in a Book of Memories. Like, this game tries to explain every other Silent Hill game as somebody wrote in a Book of Memories. I can literally show you right now. Notes. So here. Book of Memories. The way the Book of Memories works. It's a magic book from Silent Hill. If you acquire the book, whoever is in possession of the book shows your entire life written out in the book. If you go in and write something new in or change something, whenever you go to sleep, you go into the mind of the person who you need to in order to make the written reality become your actual reality. And by completing a zone and defeating a boss, You are overpowering their will with your will and changing reality. Which already is a stupid, nonsensical concept, but hey, we're calling everything that Konami made canon, right? For this example. So here, I just wanted my daughter to grow up and have a normal life, a life without all this madness. I wish that damn cult never existed. Bam. Shattered Memories. Shattered Memories is Silent Hill 1 without the cult. Harry Mason writes in A Book of Memories, Shattered Memories now becomes canon. I'm a horrible person. I wish I could forget about all this. Go back to how she was before the illness. She could be the woman I always wanted. That's what James Sunderland wrote in A Book of Memories, and then Silent Hill 2 happened. The woman he always wanted, that's Maria. Go back to how she was before the illness, that's what Maria represents. My friend needs to return home. I love her, and the one who stole her must pay. Once she remembers, she will set everything back to the natural order. That's Claudia Wolf, writing in A Book of Memories. She misses her friend Alessa and wants her to come back. Harry Mason stole her away. Once she remembers she's Alessa, everything will go back to the natural order. There you go, Silent Hill 3, because someone wrote in A Book of Memories, October 17th. The important lady told me mother was asleep in Ashfield. I have a mother too. I'm so happy. I want to see my mother. We see Walter write that in Forest World in Silent Hill 4, but it turns out he actually wrote it first in A Book of Memories so that Silent Hill 4 would happen. I'm sick of this. I give up. I'll never be their perfect soldier. I hope at least my brother can be the son they wanted me to be. Silent Hill Homecoming, Alex Shepard wrote in a fucking Book of Memories. That son of a bitch took everything from me. I'm gonna kill him no matter what it takes. He has to pay for what he did to my father. Every single fucking game, like every game in the series, this game explains as somebody wrote it in A Book of Memories. So if you're the Silent Hill fan who says anything made by Konami is canonical, well, there's your whole canon for the entire series. Somebody somewhere wrote it in a fucking Book of Memories, and that's why it happened. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that way better than just like, you know, all the real interesting psychological character depth and backstory as to like what brought James to the town, or why Heather felt she had to return to the town to like live up to her history and get vengeance for her father? No, none of that. Somebody wrote in A Book of Memories. So reality changed. And then the games happened. Every single one happened the exact same way. Enjoy your canon. Let me rephrase my stupid question. How are you currently playing this game? This is a Vita game. I'm playing it on the PSTV. PSTV, if you don't know what that is basically a Vita that hooks up to a television and you plug in a controller instead of it being a handheld. Because that makes it easier for me to capture with a standard capture card, because the Vita does not have video out natively like the PSP did. Hey Nub, would you recommend playing Homecoming or skipping it? If you've already played 1, 2, 3, 4, and Origins, and you're looking for just more Silent Hill games to play, I would say all of them are worth playing at least once. Probably not this one. You can probably skip Book of Memories. Look up, there's literally only an intro cutscene, and then 10 hours of this repetitive, mind-numbing gameplay. and then an ending cutscene. So just look up the intro cutscene and then look up the ending cutscenes on YouTube, and that's all you really need to do for Book of Memories. Everything else, I'd say, is worth playing once. Homecoming, Downpour, Origins, Shattered Memories. Definitely worth playing. I wouldn't say any of those are like worth skipping, but definitely don't bother. Like if you're struggling between like, do I buy a copy of Silent Hill 3 or do I buy a copy of Homecoming? Buy 3. Like if you haven't played the first 4 games, definitely play the first 4 games. If you play those and then you're ready to play some more Silent Hill games and you understand that there's going to be a drop in quality, then you can start looking at like Origins, Homecoming, Shattered Memories, and Downpour. But considering how much these games are these days, like, nah. That's up to you if it's, financially worth it. Oh, and if you are going to play Homecoming, avoid the PC version. The PC version of Homecoming is really horribly badly broken. There is like a fan patch, but even when I used the fan patch to try to play the PC version, it was still really busted and unstable. So if you're going to play Homecoming at all, try and play it on a console. 360 is the best bet, and it's backwards compatible with Xbox One and Series X. So if you can make that happen, that's the best way to play Homecoming. If you can't make that happen, the next best thing is PS3. And if you have no opportunity or option other than PC, at the very least, make sure to get the fan patch for Homecoming PC. Hey, what's up, Ducky? Hope you're doing well, man. And Sonic Steak Eater, welcome back. Thank you so much for the 11 months. Very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. The Homecoming speedrun is amazing. It is. Homecoming is my favorite Silent Hill game to speedrun at this point. Like, I really dislike the game casually. But as a speedrun, it's a lot of fun. Close to beating 3, really enjoying the series, so I just wanted to get your opinion. That's fair. Yeah, I would definitely, like, if you're still relatively new to the series, you're still playing 3, yeah. First 4 games, but I wouldn't say, like, if you can easily get Homecoming, if it doesn't cost you too much money and it's not that big of a hassle, then why not? But like the first 4 games are the main ones. If you can only play so many Silent Hill games and you don't want to play everything, I would say just focus on 1 through 4.
Looking for anything specific? Spend those memories wisely now. Now don't you wait. Thanks for your business.
Both PS3, 360 Silent Hills are better on 360, right? I mean, it's basically just Homecoming, Downpour, and HD Collection, and all of them run better on Xbox. He doesn't feel like taking damage. He doesn't feel like taking damage. I guess I'll just twirl around with my thumb in my ass until I can do something. What a fun, well-designed enemy with very balanced abilities. HD Collection only got patched on PS3. I don't know why people act like the HD Collection patch matters at all.
Step right up. We've got just about everything.
The HD Collection patch barely did anything.
Thank you, kind.
There are the differences between patched and unpatched HD Collection are so fucking minute that most people aren't going to recognize it at all. Like, it's gonna be a bad time. It's gonna be a bad experience. They are not... It's not a very good version of Silent Hill 2 and 3. So, no matter what, if you're playing HD Collection, you're getting a lesser experience for Silent Hill 2 and 3 compared to if you played the original versions or emulated on PS2 emulator or played the PC versions. Like, any alternative is preferable to HD, but I know a lot of people don't have those options, so if you have to play HD, I'm sorry, but, you know, you do what you gotta. I guess it's better than not playing the games at all. Technically, I guess. That's arguable, I guess. But, yeah. The difference between patch and unpatch is so ridiculously minor. Ow. Is magic real in the Silent Hill universe, or just because most of the stuff is practiced? For example, most of the cult stuff and symbols would work outside the town. That's a great question, and it's actually, like, somewhat hard to answer. That's like one of those big mysteries around the town. Because essentially the way the town's power works is it takes what's in your head and makes it real. So if you're a cultist and you believe in a doomsday deity god and magic rituals, the town takes that belief and makes it real. But you could argue, like, is there actually these gods and deities surrounding the town already that are making it have the power? Or is the spiritual power neutral and it's creating those gods only because the cultists are there? That question is never answered in any of the Silent Hill, like, official lore. Like, for all intents and purposes, while you're in Silent Hill, yeah, magic and stuff is real. The town makes it real. But there's no answer as to, like, if it would exist outside of the influence of the town's power. Because, like, in Silent Hill 3... the Otherworld takes over the mall. That mall is not in Silent Hill. It's in Portland, or at the very least near Portland in Maine. It's in a different part of Maine than Silent Hill is. So it's outside of the influence of the spiritual power of the town itself. But because Heather's a reincarnation of Alessa, and she still carries the reincarnation of the god from the first game inside of her, the god is basically making the spiritual power surround Heather even when she's outside of the town. As long as she is impregnated by the god, the power and the ability to manipulate reality is sort of with Heather herself. So reality gets fucked regardless of where Heather is, which also gives like Claudia Wolf the ability to do more powers, to apparently have magic. Even Vincent says, you know, I don't have powers like you two, referring to Heather and Claudia. So we don't know for sure how much of that is real or how much of that is only because the town's power or the god's influences are allowing it to be real. Does the influence then follow people? Because Walter seems to completely warp the apartment and numerous other areas. Yeah, but Walter's able to do that specifically because of the ritual that he's already performed inside the influence of Silent Hill. The first half of the 21 Sacraments, the first 11 victims of Walter are the 10 heart victims where he removes their heart. And then the 11th victim is Walter himself. And it says in Silent Hill 4 that whenever Walter kills himself as the 11th victim, he will lose the bonds of flesh, he loses his physical body, becomes a ghost, but attains the power of heaven, which is essentially the power of Silent Hill. So Walter completes the first half of the 21 Sacraments. He kills his first 10 victims, and then he kills himself, and that basically gives him the powers of the town as a ghost, which is why he's able to do what he's doing to Ashfield Heights, even though it's about a half day's drive away from Silent Hill. About Silent Hill Origins, I've heard someone say the PSP version's better than the PS2 version. PS2 is a bad port. Beyond preferring playing on TV, is there any preferred version there? By default, if you're looking at playing Origins on a PSP or Origins on the PS2, on the original hardware, the PS2 version is really clunky and really dark. So it can be, even with the flashlight on, so it can be a real pain in the ass playing Origins originally. Now, if you're emulating, you can fix a lot of the problems with the PS2 port in the PS2 emulator. You can change the shaders, you can change the internal resolution, you can change the brightness so that the game is a lot clearer, not so dark, and it makes it a really decent version to play. So it depends on what you're doing. If you're playing on original hardware, PSP version definitely is better than PS2 version. If you're emulating, you can make the PS2 version better than PSP. At least in terms of like graphics, visuals, casual playthrough. If you're looking to speedrun, Origins is always faster on PSP. PSP version is way faster than PS2 by a lot. Maine is cursed then? I mean, a lot of that just is Stephen King's influence on horror. All the members of Team Silent are big fans of Western horror, but out of all of the things that they are fans of, Stephen King is like number one. there's more Stephen King references throughout the Silent Hill games than any other references, even David Lynch and everything else. Jacob's Ladder, like, there's way more Stephen King references. Stephen King himself is in Silent Hill 1. Like, in the diner, there's a poster of a man pointing a shotgun that says, "Study, damn it." That man is Stephen King. And Stephen King very often, he's born and raised, like, lives in Maine. So he sets a lot of his stories in Maine. And so Team Silent wanted to honor their, you know, influences coming from Stephen King by setting Silent Hill in Maine as well. My plan was to play on PS2 through a hard drive, but maybe emulation would be preferable. Yeah, even if you're playing it through a hard drive, it's still going to be the original PS2 version. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is just annoying. It's very dark. It's not very visually pleasing. Is the picture from the Creepshow short he was in? No, the picture of him holding the shotgun is from a newspaper, because he used to write for the newspaper for University of Maine while he was a student. So that picture of Stephen King with a big wild beard and long hair holding a shotgun saying "Study, damn it," comes from his college newspaper while he was a student. Can theoretically the town's powers be used for good, or is it like a monkey's paw and it twists the meaning of stuff for evil? If you go by what the Book of Lost Memories says in Silent Hill 2, the spiritual power, like, used to be what the Native American tribes that lived in the area of Silent Hill before it was settled, they used to believe in. They used to think it was like the spirits of their ancestors. And they were natural. They were good. They were like the spirits of water, the spirits of the rocks, the grass, the trees. It was just a, you know, their ancestral spirits. So it's believed that at that time, before settlers came over, to the native tribes, the power was good. Like, it wasn't inherently evil. Because again, the power is neutral. Like, it is just taking what is inside people's minds and making it real. So if you believe that it's the spirits of your ancestors looking over you, blessing your crops, doing good things for you, then that's what it is. If you believe in demons and devils and sin and hell, then it makes that real. So when the English and Christian settlers settled in the area, their beliefs became real. Like, evil was inherently part of their belief system, so the spiritual power made that real. Whereas when it was just the Native Americans, they weren't thinking of it as, like, heaven and hell. They were seeing it as the spirits of their ancestors, the spirits of nature. Again, even more reason why I would love to see a game take place before the town was settled, or like during the first settlement, when you first see the power like become corrupted. Don't the cult people refer to the monsters as angels? Wouldn't they look less fleshy horror and more ethereal good? It depends, because everything in Silent Hill is based very much on individual perception. It's a concept that the members of Team Silent really liked from the movie Jacob's Ladder. Oh, haven't gotten one of those bots in a while. Get out of here. But yeah, Jacob's Ladder. There's a line in Jacob's Ladder that the members of Team Silent were particularly fond of, where they're talking about how if you're struggling and trying to hold on, the angels that are trying to take you away to heaven will actually look like demons. So to the people who believe in the cult, they're seeing gods, they're seeing angels, they're seeing deities that fit their beliefs. To somebody outside of that belief structure, they're seeing creatures, they're seeing monsters. Which is the more plausible reasoning behind Vincent's "they look like monsters to you" line in Silent Hill 3, instead of what most people think of on the surface level, which is like, oh, you're killing real people the whole time. Such a boring way to look at the series. Oh, it's just a normal town, and you're just a crazy person murdering everybody. Like, that would reflect, though. You have objective outside proof that is not the case from other people's perspectives. So I don't know why so many fans think that's what Vincent meant. Yeah, the main part of that line is, in general, just Vincent trying to fuck with Heather. Like, he's literally just messing with her. She made Vincent feel like a fool, and he did not like that, and he wanted to get back at her a little bit. But then he immediately has to fall back on the just a joke and try to be friendly or play it off as friendly. Because Heather has this god growing inside of her that feeds off of negative emotions. So the more Heather is pissed off at Vincent, the more that god grows. And Vincent is aware of that. The first time you meet Vincent, and he mentions, Harry Mason being like a sneaky guy, and Heather gets all mad, Vincent immediately starts going, calm down, that's not what I meant, just calm down. Like, he starts immediately trying to calm Heather down, because the more mad that she is, he knows those negative emotions are feeding that god, making it grow. So, of course, he pulls back on what he says. He's got to be like, hey, it's just a joke. It's just a prank, bro. Don't be mad. Don't feel those negative emotions that are going to make the god inside of you grow faster. Yeah, Rochi, it's also just a good unsettling moment for the player as well, for the audience to second guess, what they've been doing, what they've been seeing. And if you can put doubt in the player's mind, it will eventually give way to fear. And of course, how do I always wind up on this stupid boss fight with no wrenches, no heals? Oh, I hate this fucking boss. I hate this fucking game. Hey, Schmumbler. Look at how the god looks in Silent Hill 1. It's either angelic, based on Dahlia's beliefs, or demonic, based on Harry's beliefs. Also, hi, Nub. I mean, the god in Silent Hill 1 is just straight up Baphomet. Like, it is barely altered Baphomet. But again, those beliefs influence the appearance of the god. Silent Hill 3, the god is born through Claudia. It's partially born through Heather, but it ultimately winds up being born through Claudia. Claudia believes in Saint Alessa, that this deity that is Alessa, this saint of their belief system, is basically ever living. She will always die and then reincarnate. We've seen it happen once in Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3. Alessa dies and she reincarnates as Heather. We've seen that she can even split her soul to create another life, such as the original Cheryl. But because Claudia believes in Saint Alessa, when that god is born through Claudia, ultimately, it looks like Alessa. The face of the god is like very much based on Alessa and her appearance. So again, it's the god taking the form of what somebody believes in. Fuck you. All right. No more lore. No more lore discussion. Book of Memories is pissing me off. I've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of video content explaining all of the things I'm talking about. Please feel free to watch them. Exclamation point VODs if you want to watch here on Twitch. Exclamation point YT if you want to watch on YouTube. Because, yeah, all of the stuff I'm talking about now, I've covered in much more depth in all of the series' in-depth playthroughs over the years. And I still do the story playthroughs live as well. I'm probably going to do Silent Hill 3 sometime this week. Because earlier this year, we've already done 1 and 2 and 4. think that shows one of the massive problems of this game. There's nothing to talk about, and it reminds you of other better Silent Hills. Yeah, I mean this game is very shallow. There's not a lot to really talk about it. Once you've seen gameplay for about 5 to 10 minutes, it's exactly the same. From zone 1 all the way to zone 412 or whatever the fuck I'm on. The gameplay has not changed. It's just zone after zone of the same shit. Every 3 zones is a boss. But yeah, there's just nothing substantial to talk about. The Silent Hill 2 one definitely deserves the views and more. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my own thing, my own fault. Because I had a YouTube channel in like 2018, 2019. And then YouTube updated their policies and basically made it way worse for content creators in a lot of ways, especially when it came to like copyright claims that are false and things like that. So I deleted my YouTube channel. But that first YouTube channel that I had with some of those Silent Hill 2 playthroughs and stuff at the time had around like 20 to 30,000 views. And I had, I think around 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers. So now I'm like, I started completely over on a new YouTube channel just the last couple of months ago. So everything is still building back up. So my videos, like, they've only got a few hundred views at best. I think a few videos are just now breaking 1,000 views. And we're sitting at like just under 500 subscribers, I think. So that's the nature of YouTube. Like, if you build something up for a couple years and then delete it and start all over, it's a real slow crawl to build stuff back up. Especially because a lot of my audience has been watching people who re-upload stuff. So people like Dorian, who I've given permission to re-upload, but then there's also a bunch of channels that don't have my permission that re-upload stuff anyway. And it's kind of like, again, a pain in the ass on YouTube to actually like file disputes and get those kind of things taken down. So it is what it is. Like I said, a lot of that's my own fault. Instead of deleting my old YouTube channel, in hindsight, I really should have just made it private and basically just not touched it until I felt like doing YouTube again. Instead of just deleting it entirely and then having to start over from scratch. But hindsight's 2020. Sometimes you just can't deal enough damage to these fucking things before they go away. Oh my god. Here's my favorite piece of Silent Hill trivia. There are people who defend this game. There are people on the same planet as you and me who are like, this game's okay. It's not bad. It's just a little bit of a spin-off dungeon crawler, but if you don't think about it as Silent Hill, it's not terrible. There are people that is their legitimate opinions. I'm convinced anybody who says this game is not bad doesn't, like, never actually played it for more than maybe 20 minutes. If at all. Because anybody who's played this, especially if you've played any other RPGs or dungeon crawlers before, anybody who plays this long enough to figure out how fucking shitty every aspect of it is, like, within an hour, you would be like, oh, this is a huge pile of shit. This game's actually terrible. This game is shovelware tier. Yep. Thank fuck we got the damage boost glitch. I'd rather crawl dungeons in Bloodborne. Yeah, see, even a lot of the stuff, oh god. Time to replay Bloodborne. What the fuck were those called? Chalice dungeons. Even going through Chalice dungeons and stuff in Bloodborne, it can be a little bit monotonous, a little bit boring at times, but it's still way more satisfying to play through than this. Literally any other dungeon crawler, anything, any other comparable dungeon crawler RPG is immensely better than this. Like, one of the ones that I've brought up before, in fact, do I have it? I might pull it up and play it just for like 5 minutes. Just to show people, kind of for comparison's sake. Yeah, no, fuck that. That's fine. We're done with this. Fuck you, Book of Memories. Get out of here. Not playing you anymore.